I mean, I remember loving Legos when I was a kid. So, I mean, they've been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it seems like the popularity, like my 15-year-old daughter wanted to walk into the Lego store the other day, and I was kind of thinking, what? You do? Okay. But
I feel like our generation was the generation that really grew up with Lego. And so now that we're having kids, we're getting back into Lego. And I'm seeing a lot more teenagers in our store than I had expected, because we call a part in everyone's Lego life the dark ages, where they kind of give it up and then they probably get back into it as a parent.
Right.
But I'm not seeing that as much. I'm seeing a lot of like the young 20-year-olds, the teenagers come into our store still loving Lego,
Right.
which is great.
well, and it's cool when something becomes a collector's item, right? Because then there's popularity, there's a frenzy for it, and that just, helps with business.
Yeah, Lego investing is a huge business in itself.
The Norterra area of North Phoenix is the fastest growing corridor in the entire valley. So what does growth like that mean for businesses? We are seeing a lot of smaller businesses move into the area, a lot of larger chains. We have a guest today who is actually opened a small business, and it's geared towards, I was going to say kids, but it's not really children, actually. The more we've talked about this is Kat Blaz with Bricks and Minifigs North Phoenix, correct?
Yep.
And tell us what that is, because when I first heard, I knew it had something to do with Legos, but I was like, Bricks, Minifig, what does that mean?
So the name, actually, we get a lot of people questioning us. They want to know if we sell fig trees or if we're a landscaping company. So you're not
and
the only
fig
one.
trees.
Yeah. So Bricks is actually named after the Lego brick. And minifigs are the characters that come in the sets that we have here.
Mini figurines.
Yep, minifigurines.
Got it.
Yep.
I got it.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, so why North Phoenix? I mean, let's just start from the beginning. What made you decide, I'm going to open up a business that, specializes in Lego products?
Well, it was actually my husband's idea. I actually, in the past, have been a horse trainer for years. And it's a tough industry, especially as you get older. And my husband just came up to me one day and said, so I've been talking about this company called Bricks and Minifigs. It's a Lego company. Now, having young kids, and my husband's always been into Lego, it didn't shock me that he found out about this. And he said, what do you feel about opening it up? And I said, let's do it. I've always loved being an owner and a boss. So
Right.
I knew that whatever my next career would be, I'd want to be my own boss for
Small
it.
business owner
Yep.
of some sort.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this, though. It is a franchise, which I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, a big thing for us is I wanted to be a part of a franchise, but a smaller franchise, because you get a lot more one-on-one with corporate. Since I've never opened up a brick and mortar store, I kind of wanted my handheld a lot more. And so corporate was able to provide that for us. So that's why we decided to go in with a franchise versus just opening up a Lego type store.
Yeah. So do they offer a business plan, and pretty much it's sort of all laid out for you to help you?
Yeah, it's a good balance between having freedom to feel like it's your own store and make it your own store, but also under the same umbrella as all the Bricks and Minifigs. So when we first signed on, we went up to Utah where their corporate office is, and you had a week long of training. And then after that, we had weekly calls to see our progresses. They helped us decide on location. They helped us with inventory management, how to get inventory. But when it came to actually the overall design of the store, I was able to have a lot of creative freedom in that, which is nice.
Right. So is it different than, a Lego store that you might see in a mall? It's a different concept, or do you sell the
Yeah.
same products?
It's way different. So
Okay.
I call it your one-stop shop for all things Lego. So when you go to a Lego store or Walmart or Target, you see all the new in-box items that are currently available. We also offer not only new in-box, but we also offer bulk pieces, which is just Lego brick bulk, where if someone is missing pieces to a set or wants to make their own creation, they can come do that. We also sell just the minifigures by themselves. Minifigures have been increasing in popularity, people wanting to collect just those items. Parents can now get them without buying the whole set.
So they don't have to be brand new?
No,
You
so
get items.
we buy,
do
sell,
you get it
trade.
on? Okay, so online, or people come in with and say, "Hey, like this." Mm-hmm. You were saying is from 1968.
Yes. So this was from 1968. The actual Lego brick was made in 1964. They started naming their sets and numbering their sets. And if you look on here, this is set number 5.
Oh wow!
So it was the fifth
Right.
name set that came out.
Wow. So I mean, I remember loving Legos when I was a kid. So, I mean, they've been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it seems like the popularity, like my 15-year-old daughter wanted to walk into the Lego store the other day, and I was kind of thinking, what? You do? Okay. But
I feel like our generation was the generation that really grew up with Lego. And so now that we're having kids, we're getting back into Lego. And I'm seeing a lot more teenagers in our store than I had expected, because we call a part in everyone's Lego life the dark ages, where they kind of give it up and then they probably get back into it as a parent.
Right.
But I'm not seeing that as much. I'm seeing a lot of like the young 20-year-olds, the teenagers come into our store still loving Lego,
Right.
which is great.
well, and it's cool when something becomes a collector's item, right? Because then there's popularity, there's a frenzy for it, and that just, helps with business.
Yeah, Lego investing is a huge business in itself. We see people coming in our store all the time talking about different investments they've made, different sets they've found from their childhood or they still have from their childhood. One of the reasons that we learned about the value of Lego is that my husband still has all of his Lego sets from when he was a kid.
Wow.
And he was able to rebuild his Skull Eye schooner, which is a pirate ship, and it had quadrupled in value from
Wow.
what they had purchased it for.
Right.
And he said, there's a lot of money in Lego.
Yeah.
And it has so much nostalgia with it that adults can come at our store and they'll see all of our used sets and know that, oh, I had that set when I was a kid.
Right. Are you guys open every day?
We are. So we're open Monday through Sunday. We're 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 6, and 11 to 4 on Sundays.
And do you have parties there, don't you? Or do you
We
guys offer? You don't? Okay. Because I thought I've seen on social media, she has really great social media, which also helps building a business. There's no question in that. But I thought that I had seen somewhere that you had some groups of kids, like for a birthday or something like that. I mean, I guess they could come in and just shop,
One of the things I had to give up in order to be in this area was the square footage. So I wasn't able to get a place big enough to have a party room, but we've been trying to figure out ways to allow groups in. So we've been doing some weekday homeschooling groups that have come in and done some STEAM activities in our store.
So that's a great transition. Let's start talking a little bit about what it looks like to own a business in this area for people that aren't, in the North Phoenix area. And Norterra is what it's called, and the main cross streets. Really, it's kind of I-17 and Happy Valley. This area is growing by leaps and bounds. I've been here for almost 15 years, and it didn't look that way back in 2008, 2009, 2010. Some of these, there was like one outdoor mall down the street, and a lot of the businesses were just closing up. It looked like it might dry up and blow away, and it wasn't going to survive. So now it feels like there's a lot of competition with these large businesses and these large chains. And we have the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company moving into the area. They spent $40 billion to be here. We're going to see a ton of their employees. They're going to bring their families. There's just lots going on here. How was it looking at, pricing wise, and you look at rents, because I know that they've skyrocketed in this area, commercial rents. What was the, kind of the consideration you guys were taking in figuring out if this was going to work out for you in the long run?
Well, the biggest thing for me about a small business is you have to have a support from the community. They have to want to take the time to visit a small business versus just go to Walmart and grab a set.
Right.
And so
And there is a Walmart.
And there is a Walmart.
Like a mile away from your store.
Right, exactly. So we had to have people wanting to come into our store and not just support the business, but support our family. So when my husband approached me with this, I said, okay, here's one of the things is we have to be in the Norterra area. This is my community. My kids go to school here. We're very involved with our community that I want it to be in our neighborhood. Also, there's tons of growth here, but there's not a lot of family-friendly growth here.
True.
So I wanted to bring another family-friendly store into this area. And it has definitely paid off because so many people come in and they'll look around and say, please tell me you have it, because don't make me go to Walmart.
Yeah.
And that's when I know, like, this is the right area to be in.
Yeah. And they want to support you.
Exactly.
And, tell me a little bit about why you guys ended up where you did in that strip mall. You were saying great things about your landlord.
Yeah. When I talked to other franchise owners, I kind of took away what would you look for when looking for a space? And everyone agreed, a great landlord. So we found out about Red Hawk Development down the street. We had also looked at the shops at Norterra, but it's owned by a huge company. When we looked at the little Happy Valley Crossroads that was just building up at the time, the actual landlord sat us down and he interviewed us and he said, here's the deal is I'm looking to build a small business community there. I own the land, where the learning experience is,
Right.
and I own the land across the street, and
Right.
I'm only going to lease to small business owners, but I need them to be successful as well. So he vetted us, which I really appreciated.
Sure.
And I knew any new stores coming in are going to help us.
Right.
And so at that moment I said, we got to be with it.
Yeah, because if you have other stores, obviously, that are doing well, it just brings traffic in to the entire mall.
Exactly.
And kind of, I didn't see this before. Let's stop in there.
And no one wants to see businesses close. I mean, that was one of the depressing things about the shops at Norterra back
Yes.
in the day is it
Horrible.
really was sad to walk through there.
Right.
Because so many vacancies and
Right.
you'd see a store come in and leave. And so that was really important to him as well, is that,
Yeah.
we would be able to be successful.
Right. And I know that it's very hard for small businesses. And, we did touch on the fact that we have this big Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company coming in. And I know that I have a good friend that's in commercial real estate. I'm in residential. But he said basically that price per square foot in this area, it's doubled. I mean, it's a prime location now.
Yeah, corporate really had to have a lot of faith in us because we probably have the most expensive price per square foot at that time of any Bricks and Minifigs
Right.
store. And they said, gosh, it's kind of expensive. And I said, I promise it'll pay off.
Right.
And so far it has. But they had to have a lot of faith in us when we kind of told them what we're paying.
Right.
Now, since then, I'm sure it's probably even gone up even more.
Yeah.
We kind of got in. I feel like we got in at a great time.
Right. So do you have any advice that you could give to other people that are thinking about, starting a small business? Do you think it's very important to have, the backing and the capital of a major company and do more of a franchise type thing? Or, what's your advice?
I love owning a small business. It actually ended up being better than I had expected. And so I tell people to do it. Now, it's all of their experiences. If they've owned businesses in the past and have that confidence to start it on their own without a franchise, then do it. If
Right.
if they're starting out like I was,
Right.
and want to feel part of a family of other store owners, then own the franchise and do something that you're passionate about.
Right.
Because you're going to be there all the time.
Yeah, you live there, don't you? When you
live
own a
there.
small business.
Yes, and it's going to come home with you some days.
Right.
And
A
so,
lot of days.
Yeah, a lot of days, right? And so I knew I had to be something that brought joy to people. I
Right.
didn't want to deal with anything food where
Right.
people can come in upset about something.
And
you know?
complain,
And
yeah.
complain, like people come in my store and they're instantly happy.
Right.
And so I tell people, I'm like, that's the best part of my job
Right.
is our customers.
Yeah.
And so really pick something you're passionate about and something you love.
Right. And your store is really, I would say, probably a destination, almost like you could compare it to somebody who likes to collect vinyl records or whatever. You're going to seek out that in a city, maybe even that you're just visiting or whatever, right? To head over there and see I want to see what you guys have in your store.
We get a lot of out-of-towners. One of the things too is this location is right off the 17. We get a lot of people that are traveling up to Sedona or back, Flagstaff, that area.
Yeah.
We get a lot of people
I
that
bet.
we're the closest location to Flagstaff. So we
Right.
get people coming down.
Right.
Spring training, we had a lot of people showing up in their baseball jerseys
Yeah.
and shopping. And they said, oh, well, we were just going up to Sedona and we Googled Toy Store and,
Right.
and you guys came up. So
Wow. What do you think your biggest obstacles are? Is it staffing? I mean, that's mostly what I hear from small businesses is it's become really hard to find staff.
Yeah, I always tell people the hardest part of my job is managing people. It really is.
I hear ya.
The customers, the product is great. Managing people,
Yeah.
with us, we have a lot of younger kids working for us. It's a starting job. It's a minimum wage job. So we are really, really lucky at this point. We have a great group of employees.
Yeah.
But it goes in waves.
Oh, yeah.
We can all of a sudden have 2 people leave.
Right.
And then we're like, oh, so again, it's something that you have to love because you're going to be working their shifts sometimes. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These kids can be bougie, can't they?
oh gosh, I don't want to come in today.
Remember back when we were kids or teenagers? Like we were, washing cars and walking dogs and doing whatever we could to make money. It's just, it's changed. It sure has changed.
It has.
Well, much success to you. I am so happy that you are, seeing a lot of people in the area. And also, I think it's brilliant for you to be such, a major player and a big part of what's going on in our community. That absolutely helps. You get a lot of respect and, people just love you and they want to support you when you're part of the community as a business owner, right?
It is. It's amazing. I love this community. We're here for the long haul.
Yep.
It's just always been, I love North Phoenix. It's just always felt like home to us. I think coming from the Midwest, it feels a lot like the Midwest. You help your neighbor.
Right.
And you're just down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really love about this area. And that's what I love about our customers.
Yeah. Well, we love it too. Well, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Kat. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
and
having
if you
me.
have any questions, for me, or if you want to pick Kat's brain a little bit about opening up your own small business, go ahead and leave us a comment below and we'll get back to you.